guy said in my comment section, I want to see Crybaby's tailbone removed. I was debating Crybaby, and he said, tailbone's vestigial. I said, well, if you think it is, I'll pay to have yours removed. Come, I'll do it myself. Okay, I got a Swiss Army knife. I'll even wash it before I do it. Okay. All right, there you go. Now, it's Crybaby.
Hey, Ken.
Before you start on your question or a different topic, would you answer this one question?
Uh-huh.
Do you agree that the tailbone is not vestigial and it is not evidence for evolution?
Well, vestigial does not mean it's lost all function. It means it's lost its main function as a tail. It still has, as you pointed out, other functions and where the muscles attach and that kind of thing. So you're misrepresenting the definition of vestigial.
Listen to what you're saying. You don't know that it used to have any other function. Do you? Do you know for sure the tailbone always used to have some other function and it lost part of it then? Do you know that, or is this something you believe?
Well, it's not. We did cover this topic before, you and I. So I do have another question. Can I pose that to you instead, please?
Well, if you would ever admit that, yes, Hovind, you're right, the tailbone is not a vestigial structure. You won't admit it, will you? I bet you voted Democrat, didn't you? All right, change the topic. I understand you don't want to admit. I'll admit it for you. Folks, I'm right. Tailbone's not vestigial. Okay, go ahead.
Let's see here. So you claim that there's no fossils that are being created today, and that fossils must have been produced by radically different conditions in the past, like a global flood. What about the La Brea tar pits, for example? Do you agree that they've trapped and preserved animals in historic times?
Yeah. Would you agree there are trillions of fossils in the ground if you want to count diatoms and stuff like that? Quadrillions. Yes. Okay. They're not forming in any. And would you agree all the fossils like La Brea tar pits, or if any are formed in a mudslide, they're all formed by rapid burial in some kind of liquid like La Brea tar in the case of La Brea tar pits, or mud.
Well, they're covered by sediment that's liquefied as well.
Liquefied sediment.
So I mean, you also have amber insects that are trapped in amber that are being formed today. You have insects and plant material that's being covered by geyser deposits. And so it stands to reason. You also have organisms that are covered by by river deposits and deltas. So why wouldn't organisms be preserved in, say, beach deposits by the covering of sand from waves and that kind of thing today?
Well, I don't know if sand can do that like mud can. Okay, sand has got too much aeration going through it. I don't know that does fossils form in sand. I'm not aware of any. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sandstone, there's a lot of fossils in sandstone that have been found.
I'll modify what I say. I'll say most of the fossils we find in the world today were formed in Noah's flood. There are very few little limited spots that they're still being formed, maybe. That's a possibility. I agree. But it's the same, what word am I looking for? It happens the same way, rapid covering with a sediment.
I understand, but will you make that agreement not to say that in the future, that all the fossils formed in the flood? Because you have.
I will as soon as you agree not to use the tailbone anymore as a vestigial structure.
Okay, that's a deal. Okay. That's a deal.
Yeah. All right.
I want to bring up one more topic, is that you claim that the ice age, the ice from the ice age, in the past you claimed it was from icy comets that crashed into the earth, and you've changed that to say it's from the ice canopy crashing down. So what is your... You've made both of those claims in the past.
Right. That's why if you look at the title of that video where I talked about the ice meteor, it is titled The Hovind Theory. This is one of the theories. It was an ice meteor. Another theory is it was simply the canopy that used to surround the earth. So yes, I think I probably switched gears on that one. I think it's more likely to be just simply the crystal canopy that used to surround the world. So I never said either one was a fact. I said, that's my theory. I think that here's the evidence that supports it. That's how science works. You give your theory, you explain why you think that. And so an ice meteor would have done the same thing.
Where is your evidence that supports the ice canopy?
Well, the ice canopy, we see dinosaurs would have small nostrils and small lungs. They couldn't survive in today's world. Something was different. To get an 80-foot dinosaur with small nostrils the size of a horse's nostrils and small lungs, you would have to have greater air pressure and increased oxygen. And we know from air bubbles in amber, like you talked about, the 35% oxygen content the world used to have. So that's why I continually say that I have a theory. I believe that the Earth used to have a crystal canopy overhead that increased air pressure, blocked UV light, which prevented the formation of C14, which is going to nullify all the carbon dates for anything they dig up because they had almost none in the atmosphere when they were breathing, and we're dating them with today's ruler. So I think,
But there's no meteorites that were around during that time that would have smashed that ice canopy?
I don't know. I wasn't there for sure. That was a long time ago. I doubt
Okay.
it could be. It could be the fountains of the deep breaking open. Here's the difference, though. I readily admit I believe the evidence points A, B, C, and I'm willing to be questioned on that. The evolutionists want everybody to pay for theirs to be taught like it's a fact. It is not a fact that an amoeba turned into a whale over billions of generations. That is not a fact. These charts that they teach in our schools are not science. They are propaganda posters, and that's it. There is not scientific evidence to say a protozoa could produce all these animals over a quadrillion or quintillion or sextillion or septillion years. It's not science. That's all. See, I admit mine's a theory. I even called it the Hovind theory, and it may be wrong. But you guys don't admit that evolution might be wrong. Maybe the world was created. Maybe it's not billions of years old. You guys won't admit that.
Well, it's the colloquial use of the word theory. It's certainly not a scientific theory.
Evolution is not a scientific theory?
No, evolution is a scientific theory. Hovind theory is not a scientific theory. You're using the term colloquially.
Well, evolution is a religion. You believe that an amoeba turned into a whale over trillions of generations, don't you? Not turned into.
I'd have to
Slowly morphed.
I'd have to think of the way you put that, but maybe we'll save that discussion for another day. And I appreciate you answering the questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay.
We'll talk
Keep
next
studying.
time.
Keep studying.
Bye.
I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you
Thanks.
at the top of the mountain of truth. Okay. Okay.
Okay.